Welcome to our next lesson in mxGraph. Today we're going to be discussing styles. Now there are many different types of styles that you're able to change, and there's really a lot of variety in what you're able to accomplish through your styling. We're going to keep it very simple today, as this is our first lesson in styling, and also because I'm still learning it myself, as you know from other lessons. The first thing we need to do is within the main function, which is where we create our graph, we're going to set up a variable called style. Obviously we can call it whatever we want, but style makes perfect sense. And this variable called style is going to get the style sheet, and this variable from style is going to get the default vertex style from style sheet from graph. Hence graph.stylesheet.get default vertex style. This means to say that through the styles that we're about to change, we're going to change the style of every vertex in our graph. Now, if we wanted to change them one by one or change specific sets of vertices, we would have to do that using a different system, which I've played around with a little bit, but I'm really not 100% clear yet. Now let's take a look at the example that we're going to be using. You've seen this before. Here's a very simple hierarchical layout with a president who's in charge of 4 vice presidents. Each one of them are in charge of 4 team members. So again, let's take a good look at the styles. And again, we're only changing some very simple changes. You can make much more complex changes, which will be discussed in other videos. The first thing we're going to change is the shape. The way that's done is we're going to change the style mxConstants.styleShape. Now the mx constants are something that's very important. You'll see them used again and again, and they're basically objects that are designed for you already, and there's hundreds of them, I believe. I didn't count them. And let's take a peek at where you could find out more about them. If you take a look at the documentation, and specifically under the utilities, the util, and then mx constants, and you'll see all of the variables that are available. Almost all of the ones that we're going to deal with in styling begin with style and underscore. So let's take a look. Here we have once again a bunch of boxes, and I want to change those boxes to another style, and I'm going to change them to a shape. Here you have different shapes that are available: shape rectangle, ellipse, double ellipse, rhombus, etc., actor. Okay, we're going to try 2 of them out just for fun. First, we're going to change the style shape to mx constants dot shape ellipse. Let's take a look at it. And there you go, our squares turned into circles. Now, since these are human beings, I'm going to change them to shape.actor. Let's see how that one comes out. And there you go. You've got people. Next thing we're going to change is the fill color. We have style.mx style the mxConstants.style fill color, and here we're able to use either a HTML color value or a hex value. To keep it simple, I'm just going to use an HTML color value, which is green. Let's take a look at it. And now our people turn green. Next thing we're going to do is change the font color. And that, of course, would be at mxConstants.style _ font color, and we're going to change it to red. See how that comes out? And there you go. Now, even though we've changed it to red, the size is not the way I like it. Very hard to read. So we're once again going to go back and change the size. Style _ font size, and we're going to make it equal to 20. Let's see how that looks. There you go, much better. Again, the really important thing to understand is that all of these are based on the mx constants, which you can find right here. The styles all begin with style, and then you have shapes and some other things as well, which eventually you're going to use a lot of them, I imagine. Now let's say I don't like where that label is sitting. I don't like it right in the middle of the person, right across their shoulders, let's say. And instead I want to put it down towards the bottom of their body. Here we're going to change the mxConstants.style vertical align to align bottom. Now, this is something very important to understand. You see the align bottom, put it right at the bottom of their body. But what if I don't want it on their body at all? I actually want it below their body. There's an additional mx constants called the label position. Now the label position means where is the label going to be positioned in regards to the cell that it is labeling. So if I put mxConstants.align bottom, again you see it's the same mx constant but being applied to a different concept, let's say. And now you see we have as if it were another space that's placed right underneath the vertex, and within that space we can also align both vertically and horizontally the text that's found within it. So now that we've put this space underneath the vertex, I actually want to move the text to the top of that space. So here on the vertical align, instead of aligning it to the bottom, I'm going to align it to the top. There you go. That's the way I want it to look. I just want to show you a couple more quick ones. We're going to change the stroke width. And as you can imagine, that's going to change the stroke around the image that is representing the vertex. And you see we've actually put a stroke around that image. It's in a blue color, light blue color there. And this I haven't played around with too much, but now I want to change the edges as well. Now if you remember, everything we've been doing has been to the get default vertex style. We could do similar things to the get default edge style. This time we're going to call the variable edge style. Let's change the stroke width. And there you go. Now the stroke is much thicker. Anyhow, that pretty much concludes the basic idea. This is just the very first little run at changing the styling. There's so much more you can do. You can actually use images both as your vertices as well as your edges. There's just tons and tons of stuff that are available. But for now, you got a basic idea. And really, I think the key to going further and further into this is taking a look at all the mx constants and playing around with them. Through that, you're going to start to get the idea of some of what's possible in changing styling.